Friday, July 19th, and it is the 16th of the Hebrew month of Tammuz. Tomorrow will be the 17th day of Tammuz, which was the beginning of the end of the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, and hence begins the 3-week mourning period leading up to and culminating in Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av. This year, however, the actual day, the 17th of Tammuz, falls out on a Shabbat. And we know that Shabbat is a day of joy and one in which no depression or anxiety is permitted. And hence we cannot fast on this day. And so the fast is pushed off to Sunday. There actually is an opinion in the Talmud that once it cannot be on Shabbat, it gets pushed, so it becomes, in a sense, permanently pushed off, and we don't have any fast in a year like that, which represents this kind of extra push of energy, helping us to move out of the exile that when that day of mourning for the exile cannot be fulfilled with all of the details. We have to eat, we have to enjoy ourselves because it's the Shabbat. The Shabbat transcends mourning over the exile. So this, in a sense, pushes us further and brings us closer to the essence of our existence, the true essence, which is one of redemption. The conclusion is that we do fast on this Sunday. There are some leniencies in that fast. But we've succeeded to push it off one day, and the hope is that we push it off indefinitely, that already by Sunday, Mashiach comes, we live to see the fulfillment of the ancient dream, exemplified by the eternal words of Ani Ma'amin B'Emunah Shalema, I believe with complete faith that the Messiah will come, this incredible gift that the Torah, through the Jewish people, has given to the world, the vision of Tikkun HaOlam, of a perfected world. And indeed, those who digressed a little bit and tried to translate it into political theories, forgetting that to achieve this perfection must be done in partnership with the Creator himself and according to his instructions by bringing godliness into the world through the commandments. So this is this very, very special period, and it begins tomorrow. We read an incredible parsha as well, the parsha of Balak. Balak is the Moabite king. And last week's parsha, we had also Hukah, this incredible parsha, where sadly Aaron HaKohen passes away, Miriam passed away as well. Moshe's fate of not entering Israel was sealed because of not following exactly Hashem's instructions. He was meant to speak to the rock, which would then bring forth water, and instead of that, he hit the rock as well. And we're going to see that this leads us into an interesting segue into the parsha of Balak. Now, of course, everyone asks, this may have been a mistake, but does this really justify depriving Moses' entrance into the Holy Land, his lifelong dream? Indeed, one which he did not give up on even after this decree, and hoped and prayed that Hashem would reverse it. And the superficial explanation is that those on a higher spiritual level, much more is required of them, and even smaller digressions and transgressions and violations of God's will are judged much more harshly because, of course, from a Moses, much more is expected. But indeed, many, many commentaries go more deeply into it. One of them, which is quite remarkable, is that of the Khatma Sofer, our very own Bratislava rabbi of historical significance, that writes, citing an ancient midrashic tradition, that Moses' entrance in Israel would have been a guarantee that there would never be again another exile. The Beit HaMikdash, Holy Temple, would have been built. They would have remained there. There would not have been the destruction of the first temple, second temple, and so on. We would not be in this terrible exile that we've been for over 2,000 years. That permanent state of redemption would have been accomplished only if Moshe could go in. If for some reason the people were not ready, were not at a spiritual level in which they were worthy and in which they could, in a sense, be sure that the spiritual standing was one which would not bring a further exile. In this instance, Moses would have to remain in the desert because his presence together with them, on the one hand, wouldn't ensure this internal redemption. On the other hand, their inability, perhaps, or the unsureness that the redemption would be eternal for any spiritual reason, would be paralleled by Moses remaining behind. And what happened is, the Khatam Sofer explains that this most recent exile, Talmud explains, is a result of sinat kinam, of people hating each other needlessly. It's about hate. You certainly see that nowadays. There's an incredible polarization. I've been in the United States now. It's just amazing to see how the political situation, how people cannot limit it to a mere exchange of views, but it gets incredibly personal, politicians against other politicians and so on. We haven't properly learned to disassociate someone else's views and life view from that person themselves and to see the inherent good in others. And this indeed, in the context of the Jewish people, according to the Talmud, was what brought on the destruction of the Second Temple. The Khatam Sofer asks a very simple question. What brings out a feeling of hate? What comes before hate? And he gives a very simple answer: talking. Bringing out our feelings in words. We all are not perfect, and we judge and we get cynical. If we're able to suppress that and overcome it, we can actually also overcome our bitter feelings towards other people, and we can, in a sense, overpower that with a feeling of love for others. But the moment we speak out and we bring, to use a Kabbalistic parallel, the idea from the world of thought into the world of speech, which is very close to the world of action, then it affects our feelings as well, and it is far harder to overcome that.